क्षीराब्धिशयना नारायण श्रीलक्ष्मीरमणा नारायण श्रीलक्ष्मीरमणा क्षीराब्धिशयना नारायण श्रीलक्ष्मीरमणा नारायण नारायण हरि नारायण श्रितजन परिपाल नारायण श्रितजन परिपाल नारायण श्रितजन परिपाल नारायण वैकुण्ठवासा नारायण वैकुण्ठवासा नारायण वैदेही रमणा नारायण नारायण वेदपारायण नरहरिरूपा नारायण सत्यस्वरूपा नारायण श्रीलक्ष्मीरमणा नारायण क्षीराब्धिशयना नारायण क्षीराब्धिशयना नारायण श्रीलक्ष्मीरमणा नारायण श्रीलक्ष्मीरमणा नारायण बोलिए राधा वर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Can you all hear me well? Slight echo is there. You can see. सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। With Bhagwan's grace, Puja Gurudev's blessings, we'll be beginning our study of 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Before we enter into the chapter, some background about Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure all of you have been studying Bhagavad Gita. Some might be new. Bhagavad Gita, if you look at it, is our guide. What is Bhagavad Gita if somebody says? It is our Marga Darshaka. When we are in doubt, when we are thinking, what should I do? If we build a good bond with Bhagavad Gita, Mother Bhagavad Gita will tell us, do this. That is the beauty of this text. If you look at our everyday life, you will find there are two things, two factors. One is how we perceive this world. And second is, how do I respond to this world? Any given situation, how do I perceive it? Having perceived, how did I respond? Perception is called as drishti. With what vision did I perceive this world? World is called as srishti. Drishti, srishti. And my response to this world is called pratikriya. Pratikriya, how did I respond? Now, three factors are there. Drishti, srishti, pratikriya. Generally what we want is, we wish our srishti changes. Or we struggle with our pratikriya. Sometimes we struggle or sometimes world struggles with the way that we respond to this world. Bhagavad Gita says, let us work on drishti. Let us work on the vision with which we are seeing this world. If we fix our drishti, srishti will get fixed on its own. If we fix our vision, the world that we are seeing will look very different. And our response to this world will also evolve, change as a result of change in our vision. Even if you look at Arjuna's example, Arjuna was faced with a particular situation in front. So that becomes his srishti. What was his vision of looking at this particular war? He said, this is ghora karma. Why are you asking me to do this which I don't want to do? That is his vision. And what was his response to that situation? Pratikriya. Let us turn back. See how these three are connected. The way that I see this world decides how the world will appear to me. And the way in which I am seeing will decide how I respond to this world. What did Bhagwan Krishna do? He did not change his srishti. Nor did he change his response. Because see, response, if we forcefully change, it's only matter of time, we will fall back to our old habits. If Bhagwan Krishna had forcefully told Arjuna, Arjuna, stay here, don't run away, without giving him any teaching. When Bhagwan was looking here or there, Arjuna would have escaped somewhere. Why? Because drishti is the same. So Bhagwan said, let me work on your drishti. Let me work on your vision. What was the outcome of that? Last chapter, Arjuna says, Nashto moha smritir labdha. My delusion has gone, I have gained clarity now. Bhagwan must have said, so what? What is your pratikriya? What is your response going to be? He says, Karishye vachanam tava. I will do what is my duty. Whatever you want me to do, that I am going to do. This is the way in which Bhagavad Gita is going to operate. It will change our drishti so that our srishti changes on its own. Now, somebody might say this was Arjuna's situation. Arjuna's drishti changed, Arjuna's srishti changed, Arjuna's pratikriya changed. What about us? You take any life situation, you will notice the same three pairs operate there. Whatever challenges come in a person's life, let's say somebody is going through some career challenges, peer pressure is there, career pressure is there. That is that person's srishti. It is what it is in front of him. If he is able to bring new vision and say, this is an opportunity to evolve. The long hours that I am having is something which is God given for me to evolve. I am fortunate that I am having a career. In that pressure I can handle. The moment he brings a new drishti, he says the same situation I can handle it. If it is some family related situation that a person is going through, generation gap, some ego clashes, bound to be there in any family. But this person looks at that same situation with new drishti. If Bhagavad Gita works on that person, same situation with new drishti. He says, everybody is kept in my life for me to evolve. If I am getting disappointed with somebody, I should rethink if I am too attached. Change in drishti. He has not done anything, neither moved somebody away, nor himself moved anywhere. He says, same family looks manageable. Sometimes it is health-related setback. Same paristhiti it is, same kind of situation person is faced with. One way of thinking is, Bhagwan, why me? What wrong did I do that I am going through this health setback? Another drishti is, we say, Bhagwan, I will do what is in my control. And what is not in my control, I will surrender and accept. That person is able to handle that situation more gracefully. One Mahatma Ji would say, trench your heart with devotion and become a clay dough in Bhagwan's hand. Dough means what? In whatever way he wants to shape, let him shape. Today if you have given some health problem, he says, so be it. Tomorrow something else, so be it. Instead of focusing on what is given, this person says, I will focus on the hand which is giving. Hand which is giving is of the Lord, and that Bhagwan is all-knowing, he is my well-wisher, he is compassionate. Why should I doubt what he has given? The one who has a new vision can see this world differently. That is how this Bhagavad Gita operates. Now, if Bhagavad Gita has to work on us, we also have to do few things. Two things which our gurus, our great saints tell us to do is, chant the Gita and reflect on the Gita. Both things. Do vichara on Bhagavad Gita and do patha, chanting of the Gita. If you want to remember it in a slogan, 1, 2, 3, 4, रोज करो गीता का विचार. 5, 6, 7, 8, रोज करो गीता का पाठ. Only 2 things they have said. See, Shankaracharya said this in Bhajo Govindam. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. 2 things we have to chant every day, he said. One is Bhagavad Gita, another is Vishnu Sahasranama. Do patha, chanting. Then what did he say? Bhagavad Geeta kinchidadhita Ganga jalalava kanika pita Sakrudapi yena murari samarcha kriyate tasya yamena na charcha. He says, even if somebody has studied little bit of Bhagavad Gita, Yamaraja doesn't inquire about these people. Means what? Little bit of study also has immense benefit. So study is vichara. We should not be in a hurry to finish the Bhagavad Gita. The goal should be how much we can reflect on it. And chanting, if we can add it in our daily sadhana, it's a great blessing. It will be very familiar, the concepts, and we will get reminders. You know, generally what happens is, by the time you finish 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if you have started from 1, either in your study group or some jnana yajna, it will take 5-6 years. By the time you reach 18th, the first chapter, second chapter, they look new. So patha, chanting of it, helps us stay connected. All these ideas become fresh in our mind. That is the connection which we need to build. The point to note here is, there is a difference between systematic study and chaotic study. Really speaking, chaotic study, you cannot call it a study. It is like, if somebody wants to learn music, you say, I learn it on radio or nowadays YouTube. And somebody who goes to a teacher and learns. There will be a difference. What did the teacher do? He just presented the topics systematically. Built the topics systematically. That brings greater depth. So for connecting with Bhagavad Gita, what are the 2 sadhanas? Chant it and reflect on it. Patha and vichara. Then you see Bhagavad Gita starts working upon us. It will start molding our personality like a sculptor, chipping off what is not needed and beautifying our inner personality. Now, there are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. We will be studying 14th chapter. The traditional way to study is, we should know the context of the chapter in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Why did Bhagwan add 14th chapter? Why did Bhagwan speak about 14th chapter? And what is the context in the topics that he has been speaking so far? If you want to go a little deeper, then we have to appreciate context of each verse with the next verse. Why has this verse come? The next verse, why it has come? Third verse, why it has come? And slowly you realize there is a topic of the whole chapter. Within that chapter there are subtopics. And within those subtopics you have each verse which is opening up that subtopic. Now let us just look at bird's eye view of 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter number 1 through 6, the main essence of those chapters are, what is my essential nature? What is essential nature of Jiva? That is the main topic. Vision of knowledge, that Bhagavan has spoken in 6 chapters. Now he might have described Karma Yoga. Bhagavan must have described different types of yajnas. Bhagavan must have described meditation. All those topics are to explain this main point, how to arrive at our essential nature. Mind which is very extrovert will not appreciate subtle inquiry. To prepare the mind, the sadhana given is Karma Yoga. Remember, Karma Yoga is not the essence of 6 chapters. Karma Yoga is the means by which one can prepare the mind such that we can understand our true nature. So Bhagavan speaks about Karma Yoga, he speaks about meditation. But meditation on what? Meditation on our essential nature as pure consciousness. That part is essence of 1st through 6th chapter. Now within Karma Yoga, several topics he has spoken. He said, once the karma is done, it has gone from your hands. Any action for that matter, you have control over it only until you are doing that action. Once it is done, it has become part of the cosmos. There will be some cosmic laws which will apply on it. There is a cosmic intelligence who is keeping track. What past karmas we did, with what attitude we did the current karma. Based on all of that, you will get the result. So don't worry too much about how that result is going to be. Our control is focus on the karma. It is just like, you draw a square or a circle around you. For Balvihar children we do this, You have a ball in your hand, you can juggle the ball. Until that point it is in your control. But once you throw that ball, it has gone. You cannot go outside the circle. Karmas are like those balls. While you are doing it, we have control. Do it to the best ability we can. But once that karma is done, it is part of Bhagwan's department. Karma Phaladata will decide. Oh, I did very good karma right now with so much effort. But result was not proportional. Why is that? He says because some past equation is there. Or you did very little effort and result was multifold. This is something of the past is added to it. Don't worry about that mathematics. So Karma Yoga, Bhagwan explains. But the essence was, what is our essential nature? Then chapter 7 through 12, the main topic is, what is Bhagwan's nature? 7 through 12, the main topic is, what is Bhagwan's nature? 1 through 6, what is my nature? Jiva's nature. 7 through 12, what is Bhagwan's nature? While explaining this, Bhagwan says, my nature is, I am the source and essence of everything in this creation. Don't look for me in creation. He says, I have become this creation. I am the material cause of this universe. Now, Bhagwan, this is little difficult for me to appreciate. How should I look upon it? He says, I will give some meditation techniques, upasana technique. So he describes different aspects in this creation, where he says, look for me here, vibhutis. Look for me in Himalayas, look for me in Gangaji, look for me in Japa. Vibhutis, he points out. Vibhuti means what? Exalted expression of God. Then he says, how much should I explain one by one? This entire universe is in me. Vishwarupa Darshana, he shows Arjuna, so that Arjuna realizes, I don't need to take the onus of this whole creation. Sometimes jivas love to do it. They have their own problem, but they will take on the problem of this whole world and say, how am I supposed to handle this? The Vishwarupa Darshana is to tell us, there is a master of this creation who is very well taking care of this world. We need not get worried by it. What was Arjuna's statement after seeing Vishwarupa? Sthane Rishikesha Tava Prakirtya. He said, Bhagwan, everything is in the right place by your grace. I might not know it, but it is what it is. Meaning, it is in the right place where it is. So, Vishwarupa Darshana or Bhakti Yoga, this is the final culmination. I am nobody, one who is real doer is God. Okay, 12 chapters completed. Chapter 13 through 15 shows the oneness, essential nature of Jiva and essential nature of God is one and the same. Essential nature of Jiva and essential nature of God is one and the same. That is the jnana part of it, which is also called as Mahavakya. Mahavakya. So really speaking, the teaching of Bhagavad Gita is complete by 15th chapter. 16, 17, 18 are miscellaneous topics. Bhagavan says, this topic I left out. Daivi Sampat, Asuri Sampat. Different types of faith, different types of food, different types of actions, different types of charity. All these topics he addresses in the last 3 chapters. Okay? So with this you have the complete idea of 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. It takes lot of reflection. By the way, this reflection our Mahatmas have done. Huh? Sometimes what happens is, if somebody asks us, you have studied Bhagavad Gita, what is the essence of it? We will find some topic which we like and say this is the essence of it. If somebody is into cooking or food, what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? He'll say, eat sattvic food. Bhagavan speaks about it, 17th chapter. If somebody is very dynamic person, what is essence of Bhagavad Gita? Work, work and work. Somebody is Mauni Baba, likes to meditate. What is essence of Bhagavad Gita? He says meditate, meditate, meditate. Essence is not convenience-based understanding. Essence is, you should look at Bhagavad Gita in the context of Vedas, in the context of Vedanta. What do we chant in Gita Dhyanam? Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandanaha. Sarvopanishado gavaha. All the Upanishads are like the milk, like the cows. And the milk man is Bhagwan Krishna. And Bhagavad Gita is the milk. If essence of Upanishad is to point out our essential nature, what will be the essence of Bhagavad Gita? To point out essential nature. In that context, we have to appreciate Bhagavad Gita. Keeping that as the goal, everything falls in place. Why do we have to eat sattvic food? So that we get sattvic mind. Why do we need sattvic mind? To gain knowledge. Knowledge of what? Essential nature. Karma Yoga also, if you start, Karma Yoga, Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind. Through pure mind, listen carefully, Shravanam. Through that Shravanam, gain knowledge. And moksha. Okay. Now, 18 chapters we saw, bird's eye view. What is the purpose of 14th chapter? Now, there are some reasons which are given why this 14th chapter has come. Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, 14th chapter is an elaboration of 13th chapter. Elaboration of one topic in 13th chapter. In 13th chapter, Bhagwan mentioned, this creation has come out by the union of Purusha and Prakruti. Consciousness and Prakruti. Prakruti is matter, you can say, or Maya. When both of them come together, this creation is born. When both of them come together. Until now it is very innocent. But the moment Purusha identifies with Prakruti, Purusha starts identifying with Prakruti, he becomes bound. Purushaha prakrutistho hi bhunkte prakrutijan gunan. Karanam gunasangosya sadasatyoni janmasu. Second line says, this merger of Purusha and Prakriti is the cause of creation. First line of that verse in 13th chapter says, the moment Purusha identifies with Prakriti, consciousness identifies with matter, that brings bondage in Purusha. Now Bhagwan went on. After that, he continued the chapter in 13th chapter. Now he is going to explain what is this Prakriti. What are the gunas in Prakriti? When you say identification with Prakriti binds, how does each guna bind? Because Prakriti has 3 gunas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So each guna he is going to define. And he is going to say how each guna comes to bind. Okay? The main point is, it is one aspect to study Vedanta and say, Purusha is different, Prakriti is different. Purusha, Prakriti, I hope all of you are comfortable with these 2 words. What does Purusha mean? Consciousness. What does Prakriti mean? Maya or matter. Now to separate both of them is one aspect. But we should also know how to deal with this Prakriti. In Prakriti, the main or the most bothering part is ego and mind. ego and mind is part of Prakriti. Ego and mind is not part of consciousness. Now this ego and mind will keep showing different colors. Sometimes it will be lazy. Sometimes it will be restless. Sometimes it will be very, very sharp. In class also you will find these three gunas keep coming. Sometimes slowly you go into sushupti avastha. Sometimes people start fidgeting, That is one climatic condition. Gurudev calls them as climatic condition. And sometimes you are so sharp, got it. Everything makes sense. Enjoy it. What can you do? Until it stops. Okay. These three gunas, if I don't know how to handle it, that Prakriti which is different from Purusha, that Prakriti which is Mithya, that Prakriti which is not me, is sufficient to bother us. If I have not taken care of gunas of Prakriti, that Prakriti will not allow me to abide in this knowledge. Means Mithya Prakriti will give Satya Dukkham. That Prakriti which I am calling as Mithya, it is powerful enough to give real sorrow. And sometimes if we don't understand why this is happening, why do I feel lazy, why do I feel restless, that person also will get drowned in his own shades of the mind. So perfect diagnosis of why do we do what we do, why do we feel certain way, and how to come out from this laziness, how to rise above restlessness, that is discussed in this chapter. See, one quality of a good doctor is he should be able to diagnose you first. Puja Guruji used to share once, one person went to a doctor, eye specialist. And he said, "Doctor, I am seeing everything as two. Do dikhte hai sab." That doctor said, "Both of you have the same problem?" Means he was also seeing two. Means if we don't understand why this is happening, there is no way we can solve it. There is no way we can solve something unless we understand the cause. हिंदी में कहे तो जब तक कारण नहीं पता चलता तब तक निवारण नहीं हो सकता. कारण निवारण go together. So if I am feeling lazy, if I am feeling restless, this chapter will point out the karanam is gunas. Tamoguna comes, laziness comes. Rajoguna is rising, restlessness comes. Whenever Sattva Guna is high, there is calmness and peace. How to understand these three gunas, that is discussed over here. Now, Bhagwan has already spoken about, at least mentioned these gunas in the previous chapters. This is not the first time he is mentioning about gunas. But in previous chapters, he has not elaborated upon it. For example, in second chapter, Bhagwan Krishna told Arjuna, Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho. Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho. Nirdvandvo nitya sattvasta bhava. You become nitya sattvasta. Means what? Try to remain in sattva all the time. All the time means as much as possible. Don't fall into rajas, don't fall into tamas. Stay there as much as possible. This one short advice is the essence of all spiritual austerities, rules and regulations that Mahatmas take in their life. You must have seen many Mahatmas, they have so much restrictions around food. Ahara niyama. They will not eat onion, garlic. Food has to be cooked in this way. There are rules around sleeping, rules around how they interact with people, how much they will interact with people. All of that has only one reason. Nitya sattvasto bhava. How to protect our sattva and how to remain there for majority of time. Because the result of sattva is peace, calmness, clarity. So keeping the mind in that state, they say, is the main goal. So to elaborate that, Bhagwan is going to speak this chapter. Now one more reason why 14th chapter has come. There is one verse he mentions in 7th chapter. How many of you have studied Bhagavad Gita before? Chapters, okay, some background you have. I'm not quoting the verses, but I think the cross-reference is needed to appreciate why this chapter has come. If you know the verse, you'll enjoy it even more. 7th chapter, Bhagavan said, Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Arjuna, this maya of mine is very difficult to cross over. What is it made up of? Gunamayi. It is made up of gunas. Then Bhagavan continued with 7th chapter. He did not explain what are those gunas. That is Bhagavan's style of teaching. He will mention few words and he will note the student's face. If the student is curious, that means he is attentive. For example, if you look at 8th chapter and 7th chapter, Bhagavan spoke so many topics in 7th chapter. Towards the very end, he mentioned 7-8 new terms. And he was waiting, watching Arjuna, If Arjuna also nods his head and says, yes, Bhagavan, I am understanding, Bhagavan would not have described. But Arjuna says, Bhagavan, what are these new terms? Word by itself is not creating any meaning. Similarly, then Bhagavan, of course, explains 8th chapter to explain those new terms. Similarly, here also, when you say the word guna, what those gunas are explained in 14th chapter. Okay, this is how the context is. Now let us see the first verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuyah Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātvā munayas sarve Param siddhimito gataha. Together. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuyah Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātvā munayas sarve Param siddhimito gataha. Param bhuyah pravakshami. That param word you leave aside for now. The main sentence is bhuyah pravakshami. Again I am going to tell you. First let us see the literal meaning. What are you going to tell Bhagavan? Param jnanam pravakshami. That first word param is an adjective for jnanam. Supreme knowledge. Param jnanam I am going to tell you. Second adjective used is jnananam uttamam jnanam. That knowledge which is the best amongst all knowledge, that knowledge I am going to tell you. Did you note carefully? There are two adjectives used for knowledge. What is the first adjective? Param jnanam. That first one is param jnanam. Param jnanam. Second adjective is jnananam uttamam jnanam. Best knowledge amongst all knowledge. That is this self-knowledge. Bhagavan, why are you telling me? Arjuna, yajñātva munayas sarve, having known which many rishi munis param siddhimito gataha, they have attained the supreme. Therefore, I want to discuss few points, Bhagavan says, which I have not covered in the previous chapters. Param bhuya pravakshami. Now let us look at each quarter. Look at the first one. Bhuyah pravakshami. You know, our Vedanta has a style of teaching. The subject matter is so subtle, first the teacher will just mention it. Then he will go a little deeper. Then again he will repeat the same thing. That repetition is needed because the subject matter is subtle. If it is some very simple, let's say a joke or a story, you say it once, you get it. Same thing you say twice, thrice, you say, no, now I'm getting bored. But for example, you study Sanskrit grammar. You are so grateful when the teacher recaps. Those who have studied will understand this. Because subject is subtle, you don't appreciate it in the first go. What to talk about that Atma Tattva, which never becomes object of sense organs. So Bhagavan says, I don't mind repeating, but Bhagavan has a special art. He will repeat the same topic without us knowing that he is repeating it. Meaning what? He will bring new aspects to it. He will bring new variety, new points. You know, one raga is there. On that same raga, different people compose so many songs. Same thing, same notes, but presented differently, sing it differently. That is an art. In cooking also you will see this art, you know. One batter is there. From that you make idli, from that you make dosa, from that you make uttapam, some appam. You don't know it's the same thing. It looks different. He says that is an art. Param bhuya pravakshami. Now, two adjectives were used. What were they? Param and jnananam uttamam. Shankaracharya says both have different meanings. Param jnanam means the subject matter of this knowledge is supreme. Subject matter of this knowledge, that pure consciousness, oneness between Jiva and Ishvara, that is its supremeness. And uttamam jnanam, jnananam uttamam jnanam means the result of this knowledge is supreme. See how finely he has distinguished. Param jnanam means subject matter is supreme. Uttamam jnanam, jnananam uttamam jnanam means result of this knowledge is supreme. How is result supreme? He says no other knowledge can remove incompleteness. You learn as much as you want, you will always find somebody else knows more than you. And actually more you know, more we start feeling how little we know. So incompleteness remains unless the ego is erased. That fullness, that contentment doesn't come to us. That is the uniqueness of Brahma Vidya compared to all other knowledge. In Chandogya Upanishad, Naradji lists around 15 plus knowledge that he knows. He knows the knowledge of astrology, mathematics, physical sciences. He knows Sarpa Vidya also. How to remove the poison if a snake has bitten. But still he says, my incompleteness is not gone. He goes to Sanat Kumaras and he says, please teach me Brahma Vidya. So result is supreme and Param means subject matter is supreme. Jnananam jnanam uttamam. Yad jnatva. You see the next word? Yad jnatva. Jnatva means what? Having known which. Means all these Rishi Munis, they attained supreme status just by knowing themselves. In Vedanta, moksha is attained through knowledge. We should not get this question, now I have gained knowledge, now what should I do? They say whatever you were supposed to do, one should be doing it before knowledge. Meaning, sadhanas prescribed, different types of austerities which are prescribed, they are to prepare us for knowledge. Knowledge tells us we are not this finite ego. Our essential nature is blissful self, which is infinite, in which this ego and this world, both of them appear. There is a common field in which one little spark is Jiva, another bigger spark is Jagat. He says, you are neither the Jiva nor the Jagat, you are the substratum of Jiva and Jagat. That is consciousness. He says only this knowledge is needed. You know, this topic more we appreciate, right? What is Vedanta trying to do? Slowly it will become a great joy. Remember, Vedanta is not telling us don't do our sadhana, don't do austerities. That is not the point. Vedanta says sadhana and austerity is done by the ego. First beautify that ego, then negate it. For transaction, invoke that ego, transact as needed, again abide in your true self. Don't sit in the ego. In Panchadashi, Vidyarana Swamiji says, Jnani has two eyes. Not these eyes, eye. That eye. Ajnani has only one eye. For Ajnani, what is his only one eye? Transactional eye. For a Jnani, what are the two eyes? Transactional eye, which is the ego, and pure consciousness, which is his real eye. That word realization is also beautiful, you know. Realization. From false eye going to the real eye. He says that is the journey we have to travel. What do I need to do to go from false eye to real eye? Should I do karma yoga? Should I do upasana? Or should I gain knowledge? Don't hesitate. There is no wrong answer. To go from false eye to real eye is only knowledge. To go from transactional eye to real eye, there is only knowledge. This is where the famous example of rope snake is popular in Vedanta. Illusory. snake and real rope. What should I do to go from illusory snake to real rope? Only know it. Bring light. If somebody says, I will befriend that snake, every day I will bring milk, go around that snake 3 times so that it will not bother me. 3 people are there, First fellow who got afraid with that snake. Second person who fed milk to that snake and said, now I am not afraid. And third person who brought light and saw the rope as it is. He said the fear of that first person and so-called fearlessness of second person is one and the same. Because he has still not gained knowledge of the rope. Similarly, Vedanta says to go from transactional I to real I. All sadhanas which are mentioned, austerities which are mentioned, it will prepare this transactional I. But what is going to take us is knowledge alone. This point Shankaracharya starts hammering right in Tattva Bodha. He hammers it even more in Atma Bodha. Many of you have studied that text, right? In your study group. He says knowledge alone is going to give liberation. Now if you misunderstand and say, what about other things? What about karma yoga? What about sadhana? Is he telling us not to do those things? That is not the point. Rope snake example, you keep in mind, it will clarify many things. Okay. Next 2 words which are there, they are very loaded words. Munayah sarve and param siddhi mitogataha. Munayah, that one word itself has all qualities of a muni. Simple meaning is one who is reflective person. One who can reflect upon things. That person is called muni. Now for reflection, what qualities are needed? That we will see in the next session. Okay. Either you are a spiritual student or somebody is a student of worldly knowledge. Both have to be munis. We should have that ability to withdraw and reflect. What are those qualities? That we will see in the next session. Sometimes when you start a new topic, we get many questions. Either it is our own questions or based upon what we have discussed. On the last page of our book, it's a very good habit to write those questions. Just write down whatever comes to your mind. Don't think, oh, this is a very simple question. And wait for a few sessions. See whether it gets answered. If it still doesn't get answered, we can discuss. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.